Russia has for weeks been massing troops and tanks along the Ukrainian border, prompting Ukraine, Poland and Lithuania to call for more Western sanctions against it in fear of an invasion. A joint statement by the countries today accused Russia of continuing aggression and urged NATO to act. Russia has denied preparing for an invasion and has accused the West of threatening Russia through NATO expansion. Our Moscow correspondent Steve Rosenberg has been investigating just what President Putin might be planning.
In Russia, too, it is the season of goodwill. But peace on earth is in short supply. Russian armour is massing near the border with Ukraine. At the same time, Moscow is demanding an end to NATO enlargement and NATO military activity in Eastern Europe. What is Russia signalling? I asked the Deputy Foreign Minister, has Moscow decided to reverse the results of the Cold War?
We're
not re-examining the results of the Cold War. We're reassessing the expansion the West has carried out in recent years against Russian interests with hostile intent. Enough is enough.
State
TV has been echoing Vladimir Putin's claim that NATO activity close to Russia threatens Russia's security. And Moscow has this warning.
If Ukraine joins NATO, or if NATO develops military infrastructure there, we will hold a gun to America's head. Russia has the world's best weapons, hypersonic. You'd get the Cuban Missile Crisis all over again, but with a shorter flight time for missiles. We propose trying to avoid this situation. Otherwise, everyone will be turned into radioactive ash.
Critics of the Kremlin say this isn't about genuine security threats. It's about Moscow trying to restore a sphere of influence.
We don't know what the Kremlin is planning, but what is clear from what President Putin has been saying is that 30 years after the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia's leader remains deeply resentful of how the Cold War ended, with Russia losing territory, influence and empire. And if Vladimir Putin has decided that now is the moment to try to reverse that, that would be a huge challenge for Russia's neighbours and for the West.
Right now, most Russians are focused on celebration, not confrontation. If there is a full-scale war with Ukraine or a clash with the West, the Kremlin may be skating on thin ice in terms of public support. I don't want any war, Irina says, any killing. Slavic people are like a family, says Ruslan. I can't bear the idea of fighting with Ukraine. Ultimately, it's the president who'll decide whether Russia takes the path of compromise or confrontation. Steve Rosenberg, BBC News, Moscow.